Welcome to a special episode of Motors for the Masses, and we are here in Oxfordshire. Why are we here? Well, for two reasons. One, to pick up my Mustang, which has had lots of modifications and upgrades and some repair work, and to have a look at Modurstang. Tell us what you actually do here.
Well, it goes back quite a long time. I bought a Mustang when I was 19 years old and got into Mustangs, and over a period of about 30 years I've had about 10 Mustangs. Got to know Mustangs inside and out, decided to turn it into a business. So now we do everything from restorations on the 60s through to upgrading brand new Mustangs like the one you see over there, putting superchargers on them, everything. Everything to do with Mustangs we do. That's what we call it, Modurstang, modify your Stang. Anything you need from a service to a supercharger to a bespoke custom paint job, suspension, clutches in your case, anything.
Okay, yeah. Brilliant. All right. I understand you also drag race as well.
Yes.
So you had a championship this weekend?
Yes.
So how'd you get on?
Well, up until this weekend we were running quite well, second in the championship. Lee, one of my employees, was third in the championship.
That's out of 54 cars, right?
Out of 54 that ran this year. Unfortunately I had a few problems this weekend, so it didn't work out well for me, but Lee qualified number one and went through 3 rounds, which managed to get him second in the championship, so he's done really well. Yeah.
And we'll hear that start up in a minute. So how much horsepower is this one?
Somewhere between 950,000 horsepower, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So what did you do, what's the fastest quarter mile?
9.11 this weekend, 146 miles an hour.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was a new PB. We think there's a lot more in it though. We've got a few more toys to put on it over the winter. So we should be running non-zeros, regularly next year. Yeah, that's the plan.
So underneath the car you can see where the work has been done. If you look up here, unfortunately whoever fixed the car before put the bolts in cross-threaded and it's broken on here, so the thread had to be re-welded. A guy came in with some alloy, welded it back together, put it back on, and job's a good one.
Yeah, there was another one on this side that broke the thread off. It actually snapped the bolt off because it was that tight and it was seized. So I had to drill this one out and re-tap it. Same at the top. The third one, unfortunately, was also rigid solid. As soon as you put a bar on it, it just wouldn't come undone, snap. So we had to drill out 2 bolts, re-thread them, but again, all back to good now.
Fantastic. What brakes are on this now?
These are Stock-Tech brakes, slotted discs and Stock-Tech pads, massively superior to stock discs and pads. They don't get the heat. They've got much more braking efficiency. Yeah, you'll have a huge improvement on your brakes as well.
Okay, so what's the difference between drilled and grooved or just grooved discs?
Just grooved tend to remove the heat and take air through the brake pad while the disc is rotating. Drills, in my opinion, again this probably won't agree with everybody, but they're more for looks than actual functionality. The drilled does take air through it, but you tend to get heat spots on the disc when they get very hot, and that causes cracking and things like that. Right. So I tend to prefer the slots over the drilled if you're going to be using your discs to any, significant use.
Okay.
But just for regular road use, driving around, this will be superb.
Okay, so the clutch that's now gone in it is?
X8400, including the slave cylinder, which is, again, in my opinion, on a stock setup, normally aspirated car, is the best clutch.
Okay,
so you won't get any better than that.
The clutch that was in it, as we saw before, was AMC clutch made in Korea.
Yeah.
Something you've never heard of?
Never heard of, never seen before. It's over there on the floor.
Right, we'll have a look at that in a minute. But so, what am I going to feel difference-wise in pedal?
It's going to be still a bit heavier than stock because it's a much better style of clutch, and with that you get bigger springs, but it will be lighter than that clutch.
Okay.
And it will have good pickup, no juddering, all that kind of thing. Yeah.
No, that's good, because when the car was coming in, the problem I had was when I changed gear, if I take it up in the revs, from first to second, I would have to wait until the revs died down, find second, and then accelerate.
Yeah, that's just a hydraulic issue. It wasn't engaging properly in the separate.
Right.
Due to a worn clutch, and possibly the slave cylinder a bit worn, but that's been changed as well.
So also noticed there was issues with the flywheel as well.
Yeah, we had that skinned.
Right.
Yeah, that was all judded up and burned as such. Not deeply, but enough to cause you issues with juddering and things like that. So we've reskinned that. That's all new. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Brake pads that aren't excessively worn, but you can see when this gets seized, you tend to get one brake pad worn more than the other side because you're only pushing on one side.
Yes.
So this side was not as deeply worn.
So you've also replaced the sliders because this was seized?
No, that's a complete new unit. We put not a new unit, a takeoff unit,
right.
But with good. See, these have got grease in them and they slide so that the caliper moves on the top.
Yes.
So when you put it's only got a piston on one side. So when you push your brake on, the piston pushes that side, but it evens the weight up by pulling the brake caliper that way by pushing. If you get what I mean, as you push your brake on there, it makes it do that.
Yes. Yeah.
But because this was seized, instead of it doing that, it was doing that, and that pad was just solid.
Right. Sure.
Because it wasn't pulling the caliper over.
Okay.
So you get a worn,
unevenly worn
yeah.
pads. Yes. And obviously those were the discs, all crusted up.
Looking a bit second hand, yeah.
And that was the clutch.
Which was falling apart because we took it off. There was loads of material on the floor.
Yes.
That's pretty normal. I mean, that's what you get with a clutch of that age.
But it is a clutch, as we say, made in Korea by AMC.
Never even heard of
or
that
Valio.
one. That's a good one. Valio's a good name, but I guess
AMC3 made in Korea.
Made in Korea somewhere.
Yes. Interesting. And the other thing was the radiator.
The radiator was a bit sorry state, wasn't it?
Yes.
We didn't expanded due to frost.
Now it did have antifreeze in it, but like I say, it looks like it's something that's happened over time.
The antifreeze was also in quite good condition, but at some point it's not a very good antifreeze in it. So yeah, it was definitely a bit worn.
So Mike has brought us down to another unit, and here is where the classics are. Now we've got one particular classic we're going to have a look at, and that is this. So what is this, Mike?
It's a 67 fastback. It was brought over from America about 9 months ago. It was not in good shape, it was pretty rough. It was only the shell, as you can see, which we've completely stripped and redone. Everything's brand new on it, from the floor to the roof. Suspension, axles, everything is going to be brand new. The engine and gearbox, which is just here, came with the car, but it was in a real sorry state. So we've completely stripped the engine and gearbox, painted it, rebuilt it internally, lots of brand new bits on it, so that's going to go back and is a lovely, nice new piece.
So this is a 289?
289.
Okay.
Yeah, 289 with a C4 gearbox on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So these long tube headers, these are aftermarket, I assume?
Yeah, we just made it. It's not going to be an original build. He wants a retro mod, so it's going to be all brand new, but it's going to be just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So what colour is it going to be when it's finished?
It's going to be this what's called a burnt orange. This is the base coat at the moment.
Right.
With no wiring in the pet box. Every bit of it's going to be renewed. The steering column, the internals. You can see all the suspension, brakes, everything's been done. Engine bay, everything. It's going to be like a brand new car.
Okay, so how long do you reckon it'll take before it's on the road?
This winter. It'll be on the road for the spring.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what do you prefer doing? Do you prefer doing classics or modern stuff?
Do you know what? It's all got its goods and its bads. You know, old stuff, you can find the most horrible mess, and then the customers, without being rude, think you've got a magic wand. It's not easy as that. There's so many hours you can lose in these type of things. But the satisfaction at the end of it, when you come out with a beautiful finished car, is fantastic, and see the customer's face is brilliant. Yeah. Fantastic. Whereas the new stuff tends to be in and out in a few days, and probably more money in the new stuff.
Right, yes.
But yeah, there's more
love in the old
there's
stuff.
more love in the old stuff. Yeah.
And that's what we're hoping my 71's going to look like.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So there you go. If you want anything done with your Mustang, this is the place to come. Modurstang in Oxfordshire. All the links will be in the description below, and we will see you very soon for more cars and more motorbikes. Until then, remember, drive and ride carefully, but have fun.